Hi, welcome to another episode of Talking with Docs. I'm Dr. Brad Wynn.
And I'm Dr. Paul Zalzal.
And I'm Dr. Daniela Stein.
Talking with Docs, where we want you here for a good time and a long time.
Yes, and Dr. Stein is kind enough to join us today, and we're going to talk about something that's really, really important. And these are what are called the pillars of health. So a bunch of different things that you can do and kind of make part of your daily routine to live a happier, healthier, potentially longer life.
Yes.
Okay, where do we start?
That's the goal. So we start by making small changes.
Yes.
That's the big thing. What I'm going to tell you today, you might find overwhelming, but imagine yourself like a big ship on the ocean.
Yeah.
If you make a small little change now, you're going to end up in a different direction. So it's just small
But it doesn't
changes.
seem like much at the time,
No,
right?
It will be easy now, but then in the long run,
Right.
you would hopefully not end up in hospital having to be fixed by you guys.
Love it. Love
that's
it.
All
the
right.
goal.
Okay.
Ships ahoy, let's go. So how many of these pillars are there? Like two?
So in lifestyle medicine, we say it's five
Five.
pillars. Yes.
Okay, start taking notes, get your pens out. That's a
Oh,
lot.
and just before we get going, we're going to leave links to Dr. Stein's social media platforms and where there's other information about what she does and how she can help you.
Yes, you get to know Dr. Stein. You have a slight accent. Where are you from?
South African.
Oh, good
So-
day, mate.
Yes.
Throw another shrimp on the
Oh,
bobby.
wait, that's Australia.
Oh yeah.
Close, close.
Yes, close. There we go.
Yeah.
So that is
We'll edit that out.
that is why I'm so passionate about lifestyle medicine, because I saw the big difference coming from South Africa to North America. I was so excited to be working in a first world country
Yeah.
because there's no malaria, no HIV, no TB, or very minimal, no parasites, infections, and
Wow,
then
it makes our life seem so easy in North
yes,
America.
I thought it was going to be a breeze.
We replaced all that with snow and cold
And fast
weather.
food.
Fast food is the problem. So I was so surprised when I came here to see that the majority of illnesses that our patients have that we see in hospital are really from their diet.
Yeah.
And lifestyle. Lifestyle is broader, so it's not just your diet, but it's what you fill your mind with. Do you fill your mind with family, community, positive things, or do you just fill it with your social media?
Yep.
Of course, talking with docs doesn't count in that social media stuff, but
No, this is educational. This counts under the education
good.
box.
This is one of the pillars.
Okay,
Exactly.
so there's 5 pillars. So what would be pillar number 1?
Your nutrition. Every cell in your body is made up from what you eat. And then the easiest is to think every time you put something in your mouth, does this build you up or does it break you down? And we can do a whole new video about nutrition because
Okay,
it's very
love it.
broad. But if you're just very cognizant of what you're eating, is it building you up? And make sure that you add some veggies to all your meals. And with veggies, you don't want to just add broccoli every time.
Right.
You want to try to cover all the different colors of the rainbow. So make sure there's something purple, like purple cabbage or
Purple
green.
potatoes.
Yes, everything. Make sure that you cover all the different colors. The more colors you get, more antioxidants. You cover different nutrition groups. If you
So it should be
that's
diverse.
easy. Very diverse.
Okay.
More diverse, better.
Okay.
Pillar number 1, nutrition.
That's a big thing. Next thing is movement. They say sitting is the new smoking.
Which we love, and we preach about exercise all the time. And the key, we would say, is to try to find something that you like and that you'll actually do. Would you agree with that
Small
statement?
changes. Small changes.
I wish I'd have done my research. I would have got this chair out of the. So sitting is the new smoking. I was wondering that because I saw a bunch of teenagers pull up a bunch of chairs in the middle of the road, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? What
Oh
are they
my.
doing?
Oh my.
What are they doing?
And we see it in hospital because a lack of movement increases your heart of blood clots, of heart disease, of stroke. All these cardiovascular diseases can really be prevented by moving. And same thing, you don't have to make big changes. You can make small changes. So if you're at this point not moving anything, you can just start by walking around the block.
Yep.
And then as we go through movement, we kind of get to the next pillar.
Just before movement, your occupation might be helping you in this case. It might be helping you or hindering you. If you have an occupation where you're sitting all the time, that's a problem, and you're going to have to augment your movement somehow. You may have an occupation where you're moving around all the time. We're lucky. Our occupation is, we don't sit. You know what I mean? I don't think we sit till go like 1 minute before I go to bed. We sit down for a second. But if your occupation is such that you're moving around, then you covered that pillar. Now, in some people, you're moving around too much. In some people, you have a type of job that's too physically intensive, and you have to sort of dial that back, or you can only do that to a certain age. But movement is a tricky one because it does interfere. It does come up as part of your leisure, part of your occupation, and you've got to find where you are in that balance.
And that actually comes to one of the later pillars that we can talk about now, and that's really relaxation and rest.
Okay.
So for a lot of people, for me, my exercise helps me to disconnect, to run, to relax. I feel I go into this meditative state. I do triathlon endurance training, yes. And when I run, I'm like free from this world, endorphin release. But then I see a lot of patients who tell me, like you're saying, if I tell you to exercise, you'll tell me, oh, you're moving all day long.
Right. Yeah.
You didn't get that benefit that I get. You didn't get that wellness, that relaxation. So you will need to do something else for relaxation. So our relaxation, that's our third pillar, and that includes sleep as well.
Okay.
So that's quite a big one. For different people, it looks different.
Yep.
For some, it can be meditation. For some, it can be deep breathing exercises. When you do deep breathing exercises, you stimulate your vagus nerve. That's your parasympathetic system. So, because when you're up and about working, fixing people, saving lives, it's your sympathetic nervous system that's triggered the whole time. You have to, at a point, stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system, and that would decrease things like autoimmune disease, heart disease. Even cancer can be decreased by doing proper relaxation.
Okay, so we've got nutrition, we've got movement, we've got relaxation.
Yes. And then another big pillar is community. You know what? That is something that a lot of people, I didn't understand that before I studied lifestyle medicine.
Sure.
And I read all the research that your risk of dying of heart disease is much increased if you are socially isolated. They've done a study with nurses. They took 3,000 nurses with breast cancer.
Where did they find 3,000 nurses? We can't even get enough to keep the hospital going. If you are out there, sorry.
This was a long study that's been done over more than 15 years where they followed these nurses, and they found that those who are socially connected lived longer and they had less illness than people who were socially isolated.
Right.
And then same with the disease in Sweden with heart disease for men. They found that being socially isolated, the biggest risk factor for heart disease was smoking, but then your second biggest risk factor was being socially isolated, even a bigger risk factor than diabetes, high blood pressure.
Wow.
So it was quite significant.
Well, you got talking with docs. We will keep you engaged here. Talking with
But
docs.
don't
We're
do it
your
by
community.
yourself. Get a friend and watch it together.
And
because
leave comments and answer comments, and there you go. There,
And your community is a big
we're reducing
thing.
your risk.
Yes, you are. Community is a big thing to surround yourself with like-minded people.
Right.
Because if your friends have an unhealthy lifestyle, you will have a more unhealthy lifestyle.
You know what I tell my kids? I tell my kids that you become the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with.
I believe
So if
that.
you hang out with 5 kids that are going to be, getting into trouble or smoking or drinking a lot or doing drugs or whatever, there's a higher chance that you're going to become like them because you can't be different for very long.
I'm in
Yes.
trouble. I hang around with Dr. Weaning a lot. Whew.
Okay. Moving on. So the most important thing is have a community. Find some people to hang out with that are like-minded and that can have a positive effect on your life.
Yes. And then
Okay.
our last pillar is our spirituality.
Okay.
So to have that bigger picture and that bigger purpose, like why am I on earth? What am I doing? It helps you to have a bit of a purpose in life where you're going to.
Rather than just treading water and wondering every day's the same. I go to work, I live for Friday night, I just want to get to the weekend. No, I agree.
And even your nutrition, your lifestyle, everything is easier if you really step back and you take that big picture, because it is easier for me to eat cheesecake now. I love it. But then always when we kind of step back a little bit, look at the big picture, it helps us to be less stressed out.
Sorry, cheesecake.
Chicken wing did not make it into one of the pillars this time.
No,
I'm
but
sure.
chicken wing can be good. With
There you go.
nutrition, protein, it can be good.
That's
and
right.
there's also a way you can prepare your chicken wings.
Will you come back next week on our show?
I would love to, yes.
And I think generally speaking, whether it's your sleep or your diet or your exercise, as long as the vast majority of the time you're making healthy choices, that's what's going to make the big difference. If there's one day here where you have a misstep or you get a bad sleep or you make a selfish choice about your meal or you can't have time to exercise, that's okay. As long as most days you're doing as many things as you can.
And not to have that all or nothing mindset.
Right.
I work with people who maybe work hard on a journey to lose weight.
Yeah.
And then they would often feel, well, I ate wrong at this
Forget it.
big dinner. Now I'm going to eat wrong. And then one of my patients gave me this analogy that if you're driving a car and one of the tires go flat, you don't go out and slash the other tires. No.
Great one.
Yes.
If you're really angry, you might.
No, that's a great analogy. And yeah, so just do your best. I mean, that's all any of us can do for anything.
Yes.
Oh, those are great
Small
pillars.
steps.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing those 5 pillars. And please leave some comments about what pillar that you align with, what pillar you can't seem to get to, and answer comments if you see them.
Yes, and we can send you more resources if there's something you're interested in. Yeah.
Absolutely. If you like this video, please like it, subscribe to our channel.
And remember, you are in charge of your own health.
We'll see you next time.